Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. It's still the Monday show. Of course, Stanley Polika will be joining us with sports in the next couple of minutes. Yes, joining us this morning on the show to talk about the International Day for Persons with Disabilities is a lawyer and a member of the disability community himself. He's a civil servant as well. He's abiding in Lukman Abolarinwa. Good morning, Lukman. Good to have you again on the show.
Good morning, MITV, and good morning, viewers at home.
Good morning. All right, so yes, I thought Lukman will be discussing the issue of how the society emphasizes disability. This year, you celebrated the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and the society was not aware. The entire community was not aware. It was just in fact, let me say that just a percentage of the disability community itself was aware.
Well, to say the society was not aware, or the majority or the generality of persons with disability are not aware, that may not be too correct. Although I will not say that is untrue, because I didn't know the yardstick used to arrive at that conclusion, because generally we are aware that every 3rd of December is set aside as International Disability Day.
Yes.
Since 1992, and when that comes to the merry-making aspect of it, maybe that is the yardstick you are using, but within us, in our closet, on our minds, in our different disability group or clusters, we know and we recognize the day as International Day for Persons with Disability. But when it comes to the celebration angle, well, ordinarily, as much as the disability community would have loved to make their day a memorable day, well, we are constrained by fund. And when it comes to the event organized by the state government, in Lagos, if you are using that, it was restricted to number of persons depending on from each cluster.
Okay.
So first, it wasn't a kind of a free for all attendance. So each disability group or cluster was given a certain number of persons that would represent
them.
Yes.
But of course, you know that probably they couldn't have everybody come together.
Exactly.
Then on the streets on a day like that, I would have expected, a few programs, civil society organizations, NGOs, foundations, do something.
Maybe yes, because in all honesty, we have because the program started even before the day.
Yes.
We have some pockets of programs held by NGOs, and as we speak, some are still doing it. Maybe because this very one fell on a Saturday, that may probably affect the series of programs. And then, it's the same set of people that will be invited for the same program. So holding the program on the same day may clash and have a low turnout. Maybe the NGOs can come together and organize one event that will cut across. That would have been
a better
one. Okay, for example, for National Association of the Blind, there's every 15th of October is set aside as International White Cane and Safety Day. And in Lagos here, people know that it's a festival for the blind community.
Okay.
Because you see us on the road using the guide cane to maneuver the road, so that we showcase the use of guide cane and try to create awareness to the public about it. So I think for the International Day for Persons with Disability, what I think really happened that the celebration was not everywhere is one, the NGOs, they try to organize independent programs. And the one that would have been maybe giving it a kind of a larger attendance is the one organized by government, I wouldn't know, maybe because of paucity of fund, or because of the state of the atmosphere that we have now in Nigeria. I mean the political rallies and some other things like that. Maybe they try to say, okay, how do we control the crowd so that hoodlums will not take advantage of
it? Yes. You know, because definitely, even you can. It's a whole community. We're talking about too many people here. It's just about talking about when government even decides to do something for your community. It might not readily go around to everybody immediately, but it could be a process. Maybe that could have been maybe a gradual.
I think there's a wider consultation on the part of government. I mean, those in charge of disability affairs, we can still have a better result, because instead of having a one-man show, the clusters are involved
in the planning,
and even in the celebration. So
but the clusters were involved.
No, we're only invited. But when it comes to the processes that led up to that particular event, we're not being carried along.
So what you're saying is, even though Lagos State government runs a disability office, which should attend to the needs and the desires and all of that, policies of people with disabilities, there is a gap in terms of communication.
Of course,
explain that a little bit.
What we mean is this. You see, the way those in charge of the office run their program is based on what they feel that should be done, not what.
Don't they belong to clusters as well?
Well, you see, maybe for those that are persons with disability among them belong to clusters. But when it comes to decision, maybe, I don't know what really happened, but what I can, because I'm seated there, I'm the chairman of the Nigerian Association of the Blind Lagos State chapter. So we believe that there's a proper synergy between the clusters and the office. Even if we're having a central celebration. Yes, each cluster can have it may not be a separate program per se, but maybe before or after the central celebration, we can just have the blind can decide to have a walk somewhere in Ikeja. Those on which can decide to have a walk somewhere on the island. And that group of
but that is the prerogative of the clusters themselves, not. Can that be done? Not the Lagos State government.
Yes, because it's a prerogative of the clusters per se, but the cluster will still need some support.
And then you now invite the officers. So if you let's put it this way: if you feel that there's a gap somewhere, that there's maybe a communication breakdown, what efforts have you made? When I say you now, I mean clusters. What have you made to try and approach and see how to close that gap?
Yes, we've made several. Not really encouraging successful efforts. What I mean is that, there are occasions that, we've had meetings with them, but promises over promises, we've written letters, most of the letters are not responded to, and after we've done all what we think we can do based on ability or capability, and we're not getting the desired result, we just choose to follow whatever
is done at that level. All right, let's talk about the society here and, measure, what the society is doing to emphasize disability rather than creating inclusiveness and maybe access for people with disabilities. The society, you see, when it comes to the challenges of persons with disability, it is multifaceted in the sense that it has cultural input, it has religion input. So the society, we've not been able to go away totally with our religious orientation and cultural orientation about persons with disability. So people still believe that because one is a person with disability, there's still limitation to that person's ability. And that really affects the societal interaction with
but that is not to say that it's not changing, because, prior to this time, and we'll not be having NGOs coming up to specifically address challenges associated with disability. You've not had stations having this kind of discussion. So that is to say that
is progress.
There's progress.
Okay.
Although it may not be as fast as it ought to be, but that something is being done is a good beginning.
And you're talking about Lagos here, but I'm sure that
it's not limited, because let me be, like the disability community, whether Lagos or elsewhere,
okay,
we are the same thing, in the sense that, well, as I'm seated there, I'm not a Lagosian, but yes, I'm a Lagosian, but I'm not an indigenous of Lagos. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I have friends that are from other states too. We have avenue whereby we try to discuss and see what is happening in different states, saying that it's only Lagos state that is improving on disability management may not be totally correct. Even in Nigeria too, as of 2019, one of the achievements of this President Muhammadu Buhari is the signing into law the first National Disability Act in Nigeria, and there's a National Disability Commission too, trying to implement that particular act.
Okay.
And give it to Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila too. As we start, we have a standing committee on disability matter in the House of Representatives. So that is to say that, well, Lagos might have taken the lead, but that does not mean that other states are not following.
Are not working on
even
that.
In Oyo State, there, and the incumbent governor is doing wonderfully well for persons with disability in the state. I can say categorically, based on my interaction with other PW from other states, in the southwest, we are witnessing a kind of progress when it comes to disability inclusion. Although we've not gotten to where we think we should, but that does not mean that we are not making movement or we are not making progress.
But that also means that something can be done. The conversation, it's about the International Day for Persons with Disabilities, and over the weekend on Saturday, there was an event, put together by the Lagos State Government Office for Persons with Disability to celebrate the day and, of course, to talk about the topic for this year's celebration. The theme for the year is transformative solutions for inclusive development, the role of innovation in fueling an accessible and equitable world. The annual observance of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities on the 3rd of December was proclaimed first by the United Nations in 1992, yes, by a resolution, a General Assembly Resolution 47, subsection 3. The observance of the day aims to promote an understanding of the disability issues and mobilize support for dignity, rights and well-being of the persons with disability. The Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Lagos State, and the General Manager, Lagos State Office of Disabilities, was at the event. We want to listen to them and then come back to the studio to round off the conversation. But look, man.
It's very key, and ordinarily it's just a day where we recognize persons with disability, but we don't do that in Lagos. We don't wait till an international day to celebrate them. We celebrate them every day. We relate to them every day, and we've always been moving forward, coming up with policies that will benefit the persons with disability. But the event of today is symbolic in the sense that it is another entrepreneurship and empowerment program for them. We call it DIP, Disability Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Program. It's to assist them, it's to make them self-sufficient, self-reliant, so that they won't rely on anybody. Those that are have business to do, we give them, just startup grants for them to start a business. It's not just to give them cash to go and hold. We've discussed with them, we've met with them, the various clusters, the 8 clusters, and we've looked at all the people who require assistance in their businesses. They already have a business that they're doing. It's just to support them to continue in that business and business to grow, so that they themselves can be self-reliant and not rely on any other person in society.
This is something that will make life more meaningful, dignified and productive for them. And this is because Governor Babajide Olusegun Sanwo-Olu cares for people with disability. And because also he's a system man, everything, he encourages all aspects of government to ensure that issue of disability is mainstreamed in all their programs. In the Ilera Eco scheme, there are a significant population of people with disability who are benefiting from that scheme. You can see that today all Lamata buses are inclusive. They have ramp access for people with disability. So a lot of investment is going on in other areas of governance in order to make Lagos State indeed inclusive for people with disability. And today, that step is taken in a more, much further. And I can assure you that from here on, it will only get better. And I urge all people with disability to stick with this administration because this is where inclusion lives.
I really appreciate what government has done. So it's a very, very surprise. So they are doing wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ takuntakun. So Ọlọ́run àdé tó máa bá wa ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Because orí eléyìí mo ti ń lé tipẹ́ ní expect pé mo lè ní ṣùgbọ́n ó jọ mí lójú. Ọlọ́run àdé tó máa bá wa ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́.
Come to the studio, let's keep talking. Yes, so that was the event that was held in honor of the people with disabilities in Lagos State to commemorate the day as well. That was on Saturday. Well, let's talk about this giveaways. What model do you think should be adopted? Because then some certain class of people would say that they do not want the charity model because it emphasizes the fact that I am not like you and I would need help from you all of the time. But then this is what events like this also are all about. Empowerment. Mind you, it's not done to people with disabilities alone. It's done for every class of society.
Exactly. So this where I want to be too cautious to subscribe to the word giveaway or charity.
Okay.
Because what is being done,
a better for the use want of a better word, would we say support?
Well, it's a support, but is what was done on Saturday is an observance of the provision of the law.
Oh, okay.
So it's in compliance with the provision of the law because the law creates a fund which is called Disability Fund.
Okay.
And that fund is meant for special interventions.
Okay.
Like this. Because, mind you, the essence of the Special People's Law is not to take over the responsibility or the totality of the welfareism of persons with disability from the regular circle. So what that presupposes is that as other ministries, departments and agencies are doing their programs, it has to be inclusive of persons with disability. But that particular fund is like a special intervention fund in case if the regular structure will not meet a particular demand of person with disability, then that fund can come as a form of rescue to make provision in that regard. Okay. So what happened on Saturday is not the first of its kind.
Okay.
Yes, it started in 2017 during Governor Akinwumi Ambode. So I think we were able to do like 2 series before Governor Ambode left office.
And the present government had continued in it?
Yes, the government continued, but you know the first one this present governor did was not in this format. It was like a training stuff. Okay. So that they try to do vocational.
It was capacity building.
But it could come in any way, but it can only get better.
It can only get better. So what we had on Saturday is a fulfillment of the provision of the law. And well, you know, it's just like when you ask a blind person to describe an elephant, it depends on the part the person touches. That would determine his own definition. Some will say, oh, elephant has a big head. The other say, no, it's not a big, it has a fat leg. So it depends on. So whatever happened, the how do I put it? The functionality or the impact will now depend on the motive behind on what particular challenge
very much.
that is meant to solve.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate your presence in the studio this morning.
All right, as we round off the show this morning, I want to say thank you to the chairman of the Lagos State Association of the Blind. Thank you so much, Lukman Bolaniwa, for joining us on the Bumper Breakfast. And we look forward to having, another cluster represent the disability community on the show. As we round off this morning, we want to celebrate, we want to quickly celebrate. Okay, let's quickly take a commercial break. When we come back from this commercial, of course, we will be rounding off the show, and Stanley will be here to give you Bumper Sports update.
Èkó àkété ìrẹ́ni ọmọ ìlú ní gómìnà kan ìṣẹ̀yà Jídé Adédìróndé ọpọlọ òfin líle máṣùmátọ̀ ó tó gẹ́ jàǹdóde kò mọ Èkó ṣe kò fẹ́ra má nílùú Èkó mọ́.
àbí Èkó wa kọ́ rèé tí gbogbo wa jẹ́ alẹ́nu lọ́rọ̀ nígbà kan kíkun Èkó lọ́dà ò tó wọn à ń jó sí dandan ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ará ìlú Dr. Ọlájídé Adédìran kájú ẹ̀ jàǹdó for governor kí gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣe rìn fọ́kọ̀ ọrọ̀ ajé tí ò ní pákánleke ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìbò dídì gbara wa lọ́wọ́ ogun gbódò ńrọ́ṣọ ẹ jẹ́ ká gbárùkù ti Dr. Jídé Adédìran àti Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé sí ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti igbákejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlọsíwájú tó péye vote jàǹdó for Lagos governor 2023 PDP power to the people. Àwọn Friends of Lagos ló ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ìkéde yìí.
My husband kill am dey outside. He dey waka.
Passion and ambition.
Look at the way my boss was looking at you.
I'm loving someone.
Incessant crime and deceit.
I tell you, don't get go what's past corridor.
400,000.
Intertwined in the corridors of power.
I know you killed GPT and set him up.
On and off the streets.
Hey, don't try to be smart with me. I'm an officer of the law.
Covenant. Showing weekdays at 8 p.m. WAT on Africa Magic Showcase.